Hey, everybody, welcome to Copi Cafe, episode number 48. We're excited to be chatting with you guys and updating you on everything that's going on with Cornucopias. You got Rob Gregg here, Josh Jones. Cornucopias is an MMORPG game that is also utilizing technology on the blockchain to assist us with really empowering players to have their own freedom, their own autonomy, the ability, the liquidity of their assets, and create new economies within the game. So there's a lot that we're trying to do to really empower the player, not only to own their own assets, but also to participate in the economy and create and add to the economy. So there's a lot of fun stuff that we have. We've talked about that with many of you guys before, but that's a quick update on what we're doing. If you ever want to find out more, just go to our website. I highly recommend reading the Copi Wiki. It has all sorts of fun information for you there. Rob has worked a ton on that, and we've done a lot to keep it up to date throughout our 1.8 years of existence, or wherever we're at. We're coming up on 2 years here in a couple of months. We're coming up on quarter number 2, and a racing game launch very soon as well. So a lot of exciting things to track with us on what's happening this year. But before we get too far along, Rob, what are you drinking today?
Yep. Hello there. Today I am drinking pure apple juice from the Co-op.
Did you hear that?
Oh,
mine's exciting. It's a Waterloo. I haven't had one of these in a while. Orange vanilla.
No, I don't think. Have you ever had an orange one before? I don't remember you having an orange one.
I haven't had an orange vanilla before. It's pretty good.
Ooh.
It tastes kind of like a creamsicle or something.
Nice. Can't pour this thing.
All right. Quick rundown of the topics for today's episode. We're going to be talking about the NFT marketplace specs. We got a nice little leak on what the requirements are going to be for your hardware to play the game. So that'll be our leak for the day. Kalito Valley, little talk about what we got going on with the racing game. Tree chop demo that we got to see this week. A little bit about testing, and then questions from the community. So without further ado, let's just kick it off and get right into this.
I like it. You told them what the leak is.
Well, I gave them a hint at what the leak is.
Without telling them what it was. Yeah, it's good. I like it.
As a mini leak for the main leak. Something to that effect.
For those that didn't skip, now they know what's going to happen.
All right. So to kick this off, sometimes we want to give you guys perspective on how much is going on behind the scenes. But to actually launch this racing game, we've also ideally got to have a marketplace for purchasing in-game assets and other things that we're going to have going. So there's a lot of planning involved in that. And how's that going to work? How are we going to get traditional gamers to come over and experience this if they can only buy NFTs? So we've got to have a kind of a hybrid marketplace where people can buy utilizing fiat, so that the traditional gamers have a reason to come over and check out Web3. If they've got to set up a wallet and learn about seed phrases and all the complications with crypto, that's going to be real. It's like us putting a stiff arm up, to the traditional gamer if we require that. So we don't want to do that. What we want to do is encourage people through having the proper incentive to jump over to Web3 and to set up your NFT wallet when the time is right. And so we've thought a lot about all of that in the planning of our NFT marketplace, which hopefully will be up at the time of the racing game launch, if not very shortly after. Any thoughts on that, Rob?
Yeah, I think it's really important to bridge the gap between Web 2 and Web 3. We know we have Web 3 people that will want to connect their wallet and pay with cryptocurrency, and that's fine. But we'll also have Web 2 people that will be starting their journey into Web 3. So being able to accept fiat currency is great. And and also for those people that are Web 3, having a Web 2 equivalent might be more convenient. So I think
who knows? Either way, we've got to have both
Yeah.
as one of our main goals is tapping into the traditional gaming market
Hmm.
as well as crypto, and really bringing people over to show them what crypto empowers, what blockchain empowers within the game, the amazing innovation that we're able to give them access to, and how now they can play the game and then leave with their assets. Hopefully, they never leave, obviously, because we're going to make an amazing game. But that's the beautiful reality of what blockchain enables here, is that kind of liquidity. Um, so we've made a lot of progress with the player ID and player profile and admin setup and all of that, so that now we're able to move on to the NFT marketplace, which is with some really good news that we got last week from the team, that is set up and ready to go. The desktop launcher is basically ready to go. We are now moving into setting up the marketplace. Obviously, we are still building out the racing game as well. So we have an update on Toledo Valley. That first track has been completed. So we've got track number 1 ready to go. I mean, there's final finishing touches, of course, as always, and we're gonna have to test it more. And there might be an issue on turn number 3 or something like that we have to modify. But for the most part, track number 1 is complete. So we have 2 more tracks that we're working on for the MVP release.
We'll release that.
Progress made on the multiplayer side as well. What?
We'll release that as a leak in a future leak, because there's a
Absolutely.
new track. It looks different.
Yeah, it does look a little bit different. It's awesome.
It looks real.
Mm-hmm.
It looks real. It looks different. It's designed differently. It's got, I don't know, it reminded me of a bowling alley in some ways. I can't say no more than that, but if you've got kids, you'll know what I mean.
I don't. Yeah, I could see why you might say that, but no, it's amazing. It looks amazing. So that's the update on the racing game. Multiplayer's moving along. We're about to have a build set up on Amazon or on our platform, and start with that process. And then from there, we should be testing, I hope, next week, and really getting the team going on some of that next week. Fingers crossed. It looks good. There's been a lot of debugging to get the main build ready and up on hosting, but we're really close to that. And then, obviously that'll move us further along there. The team meeting, we got to see the tree chop demo.
Tuesday's meetings are on fire. Yeah,
they are. It's so fun when we get close to releases. We get to start seeing a lot of this stuff. That tree chopping, pretty legit.
We moved the team from building our mobile game, and one of their first tasks was to do tree chopping. And we've seen tree chopping in Minecraft. We've seen it in Fortnite. We've there's quite a lot of different types of tree chopping. But I've never seen tree chopping that uses chaos physics before. And so not just the chaos physics that is built into Unreal Engine, but a custom version of chaos physics. So we'll give you a demo in the future. We'll bring on the development team. They will show you what tree chopping will look like in Cornucopias. It is a sight to be seen. There is all kinds of chaotic physics going on in terms of where you hit it, how you hit it, the strength, how bits break off, how it falls,
how much comes off. Yeah. I thought they did an excellent job on that.
Yeah.
And the beauty of that is that's one element that's in the game that we've programmed. We've got the meters for how the strength and the speed and the different mechanics of how you control and actually execute a chop. Those mechanics actually scale over to other things that you'll be doing in the game. Mining, for example, that will scale over to that. And some parts of that will scale over to fishing. With how the casting is executed. So
just the power bars. Yeah. But we obviously have a need system of the players, which we've talked about in the past, so if you, I don't know, if you miss with the axe, or if you get in the wrong position and the tree falls on your head, We've taken these into account as well.
Yeah.
Players, be careful.
Make it. Don't get killed by the tree you're chopping down. Yep. That's important. So yeah, another topic that's up for discussion is testing. So you, what do you want to talk about with that? Because you've been kind of starting that planning process with Ant.
Yeah, so we had version 1 of public testing and back office testing with the mobile game, obviously, and we learned a lot from that, and that was really successful. And in setting up the second version of this now, we're really going to scale. So Jeff's come on board to help us with that as well. He's got some good knowledge in the area and with Ant as well, who's obviously in charge of the QA. So we're looking at using this time Freshdesk as kind of like the first line of support, because we already use that internally within the company. So we'll have Freshdesk that the tickets raised internally or via the public that will come directly to us. We'll then have a second line of support which will be able to transfer the new tickets, the non-duplicates, into Jira, which will then have a third line support, which is obviously the developers, which will then be able to go and fix and look into the problems, but we'll be able to feed all that back to the initial initiator of those tickets. And yeah, it's pretty solid setup.
That's great. And so that we will be able to give graduated increases to the testing group that will then utilize that technology to provide the feedback.
Yep.
Based upon their player account and things like that.
Yeah, correct? And we'll have a history of, we'll obviously have a history and a log of issues that are being raised, but because we're also tracking those within Jira, and Jira is also what the developers are using, we'll be able to attach individual issues to the original development task that part of the original sprint. We'll be able to go look back at the whole history when they release new updates. If that then incurs any issues in the future, we can always go back to and look and read previous history. Yeah, so it's just it's what you'd expect.
Yeah Agreed. It's exciting, just to be even talking about getting into testing and all of that stuff. We're so excited to start releasing this to the community and letting you guys get your hands on it. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a really fun year for us, for sure. And it's a lot of, as you mentioned in the team meeting this week, a lot of new challenges happening. We're transitioning from being in a building phase to continuing in a building phase, but also having a live phase and feedback and debugging and iterating and all of that. So it's almost as if the workload could double in a short amount of time. So we have to be ready for how we handle all of that.
And I think that's important as well. The format of our team weeklies is yourself and myself. We start off with company news or game news or industry news. Then we introduce team members, and then we have questions and answers at the end. We have demonstrations, and kind of the theme for this week was, look what we've just achieved in quarter one. Look at this big list, and I know that Matt's going to create a document to go through that. And what we've achieved in quarter one is absolutely amazing. But it was also set in the preface of, that's quarter one. Quarter two, this is now delivery. Things are going to slightly change. There's going to be a buzz around because the community are going to get their hands on things. There's probably going to be community videos. There's going to be lots of tickets coming in. There might be a little bit of stress internally as we're meeting deadlines, as we're getting feedback. We'll go to the next phase now. This is definitely a new chapter for us, because testing the mobile game was one thing, but actually testing the metaverse racing game, this takes us into a definite new chapter. And also for community, be aware that as we are launching this game, this is perfect time now for spammers and scammers to come on board saying, actually, come and download from this location. We've got an early test in here, get in here. There's this offer here, everything. That whole ecosystem will set alight. And we can't help that. We can try and take them down and warn people. Only come via our official links in Discord and what we share on our website. Everything else, everybody who contacts you direct is not us. I can 100% guarantee that now. Even if it's somebody trying to impersonate Matt, which I know's happened this week as well, the team will never, ever contact you direct unless we have said we are going to contact you somehow, which we won't. It'll be part of a conversation where you know it's us.
And the reason we need to make sure you know that is because that's one of the main ways that scammers operate, is they'll reach out to you through another message somewhere. Another thing that we need to emphasize is just never go to, always double check whatever the Twitter announcement is. Is it the actual Cornucopias game official Twitter? People will change one tiny letter in that to make it seem like, and you can't really tell. It still looks like it's Cornucopias game. Everything else is the same. They changed one tiny letter in the handle, and then they put up a post about that goes to a fake website with nefarious code on it, or whatever their intentions are. Just be careful. Very, very careful that you're going to the right places. That's obviously always paramount.
There will be testing groups that we will roll out. We've said that they're going to be in different groups. There will be a channel in Discord. People will be invited when it's your turn into that. It will all be controlled. Even the roles, we know if you've been invited or not. We will know your ID. We will know your NFTs. We will explain how that's going to work. So there is no way you can shortcut the system. Even if you know where that download is, don't install it, because you won't be able to get into the game anyway. There's no shortcuts. There's no way of hacking it. The only way you can do is the official route, and if you've been invited for testing. So, please do not go to any link that people say I've got for you, because I'm pretty sure it'll be fake anyway. It'll be people trying to scam you. This is executables that's going on a desktop. This is dangerous stuff if you download the wrong stuff. So, I'm saying take heed on purpose. This is really, really important information.
Yes, agreed. Okay. Look, I want to bring something up random that occurred recently. This Max L character. We can't tell you. Rob and I don't know a lot about what's going on here. We're watching with you, but keep your eye on that guy. I mean, he seems to have some interesting stuff to say. So there might be a little more from this dude in the future. I don't know. We're going to be watching with you though, and trying to figure out what's happening there.
Yeah, it's got a nice little puzzle. I think I'm partway through to fixing it.
Yeah, well,
solving it. I mean,
I've got see if you can figure it out.
Sussed, I think.
Yeah. So that's happening, and then also we have some questions from the community before we move into our leak. So you want to go ahead and get started with those?
Yeah. Okay. Sir Lost asked, can cheeky racer suit be worn in gameplay other than racing? Can I walk around Solace with a racer suit on? Think of a Racer X brother from the cartoon back in the day.
I do think that is going to be possible. It, whether that's possible from the get-go, I don't know in terms of MVP. Well, obviously there's only so many areas you'll be able to walk around with the MVP anyway. It's going to be the theme park kind of style entrance to the racing megadome and then the dome. So, but yes, that is something that we should have available. Now, it could be that it's not ideal for certain activities, and that makes certain things harder to do if you're wearing a racing suit. For example, that might get a little hot if you're trying to go out fishing in Solace. It might wear you out pretty quick, and you might not have the best experience. But these are things that are down the line. In the beginning, hopefully we'll be able to wear whatever you want, wherever you want. So yeah, next question.
DB Cooper asks, will it be possible to move your land to another available spot if you aren't satisfied with your chosen location?
Say that again.
That again?
And again.
Again. Will it be possible to move your land to another available spot if you aren't satisfied with your chosen location?
No, once you've selected your location, that's your land. Now, the idea is that we have an NFT marketplace that has the ability to buy and sell in the future. So you could put your land up for sale and buy somebody else's property that's somewhere else. That is
just like in real life.
Yeah.
You can't pick up your land and plonk it somewhere else, but you can, get rid of it and go get another one if you want.
Yep, correct.
But nearer the time, you'll be able to do your own research, as they say, and just pick a plot that suits you.
Mm-hmm.
There's no bad plots in Cornucopias.
Nope. All right. What's next? Any more?
There
was a weather one or something.
Will there be? So the Owl Knight asks, will there be a weather effect update for racing game tracks in the future? So will weather be on the racing tracks?
In the future, ideally, we would have different weather scenarios that would cause you, obviously this is, here's an example that's not entirely relevant because we're using flying vehicles. But for one example, maybe you have days on a racing track where it's raining and so the track is more slick. All right. So we could take elements of weather like maybe high humidity and high rain and change the visibility and make it more challenging, or some of the physics react slightly different or things like that. So we can look into things like that in the future for sure that affect the way that your vehicle operates because of the weather. But will that be an MVP? No.
I haven't really seen a roadmap of tracks that will come in the future, but what I do know is we have spoke about, like you say, weather effects. So if you go through clouds, then not only will that affect your visibility, it will affect your some of the dynamics of the vehicle. Also, if you go over water, I think the way the vehicles are designed, because they kind of have some kind of, I don't know, interaction with the surface underneath, water could affect handling as well.
Yeah. They talked about that.
This would be a definite leak, so we might have to chop this bit out.
No, it's fine. I mean, these are things. It's not for MVP. We're talking about possibilities for the future. So.
I think maybe what could be in the MVP is, feel free to chop this out. I think there is parts of the track that if you go too fast, you'll pass out.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We have talked about that. Whether that makes it to MVP or not,
it is a discussion.
That's a scary thought.
And that might be an MVP, which could make it incredibly interesting.
That's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, well, that's a semi leak. Speaking of leaks, let's go ahead and get to that final element of the show for you guys. It's been a quick and easy one today. Thanks for hanging in with us. But the final element that we're going to cover is the specs required for your hardware to play the game.
Yeah, I mean, I've got these specs. Is that not what you meant?
No, that's definitely not what I meant. No.
Okay.
Not spectacles.
Okay.
System specifications. All right. You want to cover the minimum requirements?
Yes. So we're going to have a minimum spec. We're going to have a recommended spec and kind of like a best experience. So not everybody will be able to afford like ridiculous expensive graphics card. My graphics card. So for minimum, we're on Windows. So not Mac at the moment. Maybe in the future, but at the moment we're on Windows. So everything has to be a 64-bit processor. Obviously, so no x86 or anything like that. We're looking for an i5 Intel CPU or equivalent, like an AMD Radeon 5 3600, 16 gig of RAM, graphics card like a RTX 2060 or an AMD 5600, about 60 gig hard drive, and definitely an SSD. I mean, you just have to have an SSD nowadays. It makes Windows faster, so never mind games. Do you want to go for recommended?
Sure, yeah. Recommended specs is a 64-bit processor, Windows 10, Intel Core i7 to 10700K, AMD Ryzen 7 5800X,
Nice.
memory of 16 gigs, graphics card NVIDIA RTX 3080 and AMD RX 6800 XT for the graphics card, storage 60 gigs of space, and SSD highly recommended. So that would be the recommended version, and then we've got a best experience version as well.
But my PC is in the middle of the minimum recommended because I've got Windows 11. I have an RTX 3060, so that comes in there, and I have an i7 and 16 gig of RAM. So I'm quite confident mine will be pretty cool. For best experience, I mean, just anything better than that, like an i9, 32 gig of RAM, a 4080. Yep. This must be the kit that the devs have. So that, I mean, if you've got one of those, then I mean, happy days.
And we'll put that up so you guys can screenshot it and share it. We'll put that out in Discord as well. I will remind you that these are subject to change, but this is our initial testing. Has given us this information, and there could be slight changes to that, but for the most part, this is a good guide for where you should be. And that brings us to the final element of the show, where we say goodbye to you and thank you for watching. Once again, episode 48, Copi Cafe. We thank you, our community, for hanging in there with us, and exciting times ahead.
Next time you see us, we'll be in Q2.
That's right. Yeah, Q2. All right. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.
See you later, everyone.